And actually, that makes total sense.
Yeah.
Because I know me.
You know, so that's our life mission. That's the McKinney mission.
So you don't have to understand my boundaries to respect them.
Well, no, I'm the president and co-founder of McKinn, a person in long-term recovery from substance use disorders.
How do you go about fixing the damage in the trust between the family after you get out?
Okay, I gotta work on that.
Celebrating my 6 months. Didn't have a cake.
Yeah.
Gosh, you showed up.
We live. Y'all take your seats. Are you ready? Yeah, they waiting on you. Hey, Marshall.
But y'all that don't know, this is my first time back in about 6 weeks. I had total knee replacement surgery. Man, I appreciate all the phone calls. I appreciate all the cards that y'all sent me. You know?
Steal the chair. This all that's coming? This all that's
You know what I'm saying? Because that is torture. You go in there and they run a test on you and they say, we'll call you back in 10 days. What do you do in the 10 days? Worry. You know what I'm saying? Worry and worry, you know? But I went through that and I took an MRI and all that. Everything was all right, right? This was last April. 2 months after that, my mother had a stroke. This was before we started doing this. My mother had a stroke, you know? And man, we just, thank God I had a program. Thank God I had a program. Because I knew I had learned how to treat my family members when they get sick. I had learned how to treat them. And I learned from somebody else. If my wife gets sick, I know how to treat her. John's wife gets sick. He know how to treat her through the program that he got. You know? And that was it from my moms, man. I wanted my moms, when she wake up in the hospital, I wanted her to see a family member. You know? I wanted to do everything I possibly could to comfort her. You know? But the hit is, don't miss the hit. The hit is how I used to process that shit. How I used to process it. Oh, my mom's sick. Man, let me call the dope man. You know what I'm saying? That's how I used to process it. You know? And man, it was such an overwhelming, fulfilling experience not to even have those thoughts. Not to even have those thoughts. Needless to say, man, I still get emotional when that happens, man. 3 months later, my mother died. My mother died. You know? Thank God I had a program. My mother died, we buried her. And man, I'm at home one day, depressed, you know, dealing with that anger, frustration, and all that. My wife asked me, she said, when you think you're going back to the jail? Because that's part of me. I've been doing the jail thing all my life. Me and John was doing the jail thing 30 years ago. And I said, you know, I've been thinking about that. Maybe I should go back to the jail. It was like a day or so later, John called me. He said, Marshall, I got a project going on, man, and I need somebody. Said, I need an assistant. When John called me again, I was sitting there, I wasn't even crying, but tears were running down my eyes, you know? Because it was like God working in my life, man, God working through people. You know what I'm saying? I heard somebody say the other day, I heard John's wife say the other day, if you think this thing, if you don't believe in God, maybe you believe in another individual. If you see God blessing another individual, he got necessary to bless you. If you see him bless another individual, you say, well, hey, maybe that can happen to me. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that can happen to me. You know? You see somebody come in here. I remember Hopper Greenhow a long time ago. May he rest in peace. I see Hopper Greenhow said, look, man, I learned at the Rubicon not to try to pick and choose who's going to stick and stay. Because every time I'm wrong. You know? When I see the guy come in here, he still got his ring, he still got his watch, and all of that, I'm like, oh, he got a chance. He going to be all right. The dude that come in the door with one shoe, he lost the other shoe, he's scrambling, he walking, he crawling in the door. That's the dude that makes it. That's the dude that want it. You know? And that's what it comes down to sometimes. How bad do we want it? You know, how bad do we want it? Hey, man, this thing right here is awesome, man. If y'all don't know it, me and John have lost weight. Me and John have lost weight. We had to transform our mind, our thinking, our processing. I just told John, I said, man, I wanted to bring y'all some donuts. You know what I'm saying? But I've been eating too much sweet. I got a video the other day. The dude say, we consume 150 pounds of flour and sugar within a year. We consume 150 pounds. And I was like, what? You know? And I know, man, that ain't, that ain't good. You know what I'm saying? That ain't good. And you know, when I'm looking at the video, man, everything that they were saying that was bad to eat, that's all I had for the last couple of days. You know what I'm saying? That's all I had, you know? And man, that's like when you transfer that to some recovery. You know what I'm saying? This is how I look for recovery. You know, I get up, I ain't got nothing to do. You know what I'm saying? I can ride around and you know, just be irresponsible. That shit looks good. That shit feels good. You know, for a minute, you know what I'm saying? But eventually, that shit changes, man. That shit changes, you know? You know, like say, you know, if you want to do the hard things early in life, you're going to end up doing the hard things later on in life. You know, mark that, man. Mark that, you know. You're going to end up doing the hard things later on in life. You know, and the reason I said that about the John, because when I had the knee surgery, you know, I told my wife, I said, look, the last thing I want to do is to sit at home for 2 months, eating like crazy, and get fat. I started eating twice a day. Stopped eating bread, stopped eating a whole lot of sugar, started drinking a whole lot of water, you know. Throughout this process, man, I have done things that I didn't think I was capable of doing. A long time ago, I didn't think I was capable of staying clean. I didn't think that, you know what I'm saying? Man, what I got? Is the mic still working? Hey, because what I wanted to read was, man, I had a piece in here. I ain't gonna read it, but you know, I wanted y'all to look at it. And this was God behind bars. Y'all ever heard of that? God behind bars. You know? And there was a story on that, man. There was a story on that about this lady that got arrested selling drugs or whatever, you know? And man, she was incarcerated. She had a spiritual awakening while she was in jail, you know? Her father got sick, and, you know, they was expecting him to die, you know? When they told her that her father had gotten sick, she said, first thing she did was to try to get high, to try to call somebody, you know, in the jail, and see if they had something that she could get high off. She noticed other people treating her differently. She noticed other people coming to her and giving her their condolences. I heard about your father and I'm sorry. You know what I mean? I'm sorry, you know? And she was wondering what all the hype was about because she wasn't feeling nothing. She knew that she should have been feeling something. You know? I mean, man, when we travel down the street sometimes that we know that we ain't got no business traveling down, we know it. And we be trying to dismiss it and forget it, but we know it. See, that was me, in and out of the penitentiary, in and out of the jail. And I know that I could do better than that. I know I could do better than that. You know? Continue to do it anyway. Thank God for the awakening that I had. What I mentioned to y'all earlier about processing. Processing the same. Hey, Muhammad Ali, if you think the same way you did at 40 as you did when you were 20, you done wasted 20 years of your life. You know what I'm saying? And I look back, man, on that. I was reading about all this kind of stuff, man, when I was in jail, you know? And I'm thinking, too, I'm wasting my life. I know I could do more than that. I know I could do better than that, you know? And, man, I started connecting the dots. I started understanding, man, there's another side to the equation. Another side to the equation, you know? What did I believe in when I was 17, 18, 19, 20 years old? I went to penitentiary when I was 23. What did I believe in? I couldn't put my finger on it. I don't know what I believed. God? No, I don't know what I believed, you know? Man, I was just out there thinking that life was a great big party that would never end. Then I realized, too, man, most of them dudes I'm running to in jail, they was thinking the same way that I was thinking. Here they 60 years old now, still thinking that the party ain't gonna never end. You know, when is life gonna begin? You know what I'm saying? And man, I have that spiritual awakening and then embrace it and understand it. Because when I was out there using it, I understand what they say in this fellowship. Man, they don't want you coming in here under the influence. You can't think straight under the influence. You all over the goddamn highway, and I drive my best when I'm high. Biggest lie ever told, you know what I'm saying? I done been out there driving, and I say, if I was a police, if I was a cop, I would have pulled him. He all over the place, you know what I'm saying? And then they think, well, I'm doing the best. Hey, look, I'm a better driver when I'm high. I'm like, bullshit, don't tell that to nobody. You know what I'm saying? You just got lucky. You know what I mean? But you know, the thing about it, man, is that this program, man, is deep. Sometimes we don't want to get too deep with it because we know you just here, you just coming in here. You know what I'm saying? Question I gave her, you know, and this is the homework assignment. What do you need to survive once you leave here? What do you need to survive? And what do you need to thrive once you leave? And I'm going to tell you, most people said money. Most people said money. And I'm telling you, you know, the ones that said money are some of the same ones that got a job, and as soon as they got their first paycheck, bam, they was gone. So it ain't money. It ain't always money, you know. You need some structure. You need some structure when you leave here. We leave here and we ain't got no structure attached to us. Man, we in bad goddamn company. You know what I'm saying? That's why we got a place like McShin, man. Y'all don't know how long me and John been hooked up to each other, man. Me and John in this program been hooked up to each other for a long time, man. You know what I'm saying? And I'm old and wise enough now to understand and know, you know, that is another side to the equation. In my marriage, I know there's another side to the equation. My wife ain't always wrong. Y'all ain't always wrong. Other people ain't always wrong. You know what I'm saying? I'm not always right. And I understand that, you know. I process things differently today than I did 30 years ago. And I'm staying with it, man. I'm staying with it. I'm riding with it. My hope is that we just get a few of y'all to ride with it too. You know what I'm saying? Man, best ride you ever had. Buckle your seatbelt. You know what I'm saying? Get on it, you know? John Shinhauser, McShin. And my best friend, man.
Oh, thank you, Marshall. My best friend, too.
Yeah.
Marshall was the first man to make sense of my wife's shopping habits. It's a true story. I was complaining about a year ago. I said, Marshall, I don't know about that home delivery. My wife has got truck after truck after truck coming up the driveway. He said, John, look, what you don't understand, see, when me and Marshall go shopping, we go shopping for ourselves. But when our wives go shopping, they go shopping for us, the whole house, and everything. Yeah. It made sense then, you know. I said, you know what, I never looked at it like that. I quit buying things now. I don't have to buy nothing no more because he was right. My wife will buy everything we need, man. I can spend my money on golf now, man. That was a good hit, and I appreciate that.
That's it.
Speaking of golf, I know it looks like I have golfing clothes on. Well, I was golfing today, so it's the real look. You know, Marshall gets me motivated. He hypes me up. I sit back and I listen to Marshall, and he gets me thinking. And he reminded me, you know, just a quick story. I graduated from Marine Corps boot camp in San Diego, California, after 13 grueling weeks of training 43 years ago today, April 11th, 1980. Yeah. But there's some moving parts to this. See, I was still in active addiction. I ran into the Marine Corps thinking I could run from my addiction, but my addiction didn't go anywhere. And I'm in San Diego, my family's in Virginia, and it won't never question whether or not any family member would come to my graduation. I automatically knew that won't happen, right? So when Marines graduate, it's a big deal in the Marine Corps. It's a huge deal. They do a huge parade. Thousands of people come. The Marines do the best job in the world, you know, graduating their troops. You know, I know the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, they do graduation ceremonies, but nothing compares to a Marine Corps boot camp graduation, nothing. And so when I graduated, I went downtown that night. I didn't think of my family. All I thought about was I had 13 weeks pay in my pocket. And I went downtown that night and did what I always did before I got in the Marine Corps, and I woke up broke the next day, okay? So nothing changed. Well, I want to fast forward the story. Last week, my nephew got married. He's a pilot in the Navy station out there. So he got married. They had a big wedding party, and I was able to go, me and my wife, my mother came, my 90-year-old mother and my 67-year-old sister. So I said, well, I want to see the graduation, because every Friday they do a graduation open to the public. My dad was a Marine. He graduated in Parris Island in '51. So my mother never been to a graduation. So I was able to take my mother and my sister to a boot camp graduation this past Friday. And I mean, I got to tell you, it was like the coolest thing I was ever able to do for my mother. And I'm glad my sister got to see it, because she's a widower. Her husband is a Vietnam vet who passed away from Agent Orange. So it was so cool to be there. And I believe I would have missed the joy of having a family member there 43 years ago. But I didn't miss the joy, as a result of my recovery, having them there last Friday. And then the story gets even just a little bit better is, you know, a 90-year-old mother, she don't move around that good, you know. And my sister doesn't move around good. And they certainly can't navigate traffic and cars. So I was able to chauffeur them around for 4 days to all these festivities and events and whatnot. And it was just a really good feeling to be able to be there clean, be there for your mother, and take care of her as she did me when I was growing up. So another gift and benefit of recovery that I couldn't have predicted or seen. Now, I realize some of y'all may not have mothers, you may not have a relationship like that, but like Marshall mentioned earlier, a lot of things, God works in our lives, and God will work in everybody's life. There's no question about that. And whether you believe in God or not, karma comes back around. So I was speaking to our speaker earlier. I just met the man tonight. I don't know a lot about him, but just a few minutes I was talking to him, I got real excited, because I know we're in for a hell of a speaker. I can just feel it. I'm a good instinct person, and I think y'all will definitely back me up at the end of the night. But because I don't know him, and Tanya was the one that suggested the speaker, so I'm going to ask Tanya to come up here and introduce our speaker tonight. Tanya? Give her a hand.
I'm Tanya, grateful for having me.
Hey, Tanya.
And this was very last minute, but this is how this process works. So I called my friend Joe. He came through a program in Kentucky, as I did. He stayed longer than I did because I went there, had a few more relapses after that. He did not. So I'm not going to hold things up. This is Joe Dow. He'll tell you his story, how long he has clean. He's an excellent speaker. You guys will definitely learn something. Oh, he has one.
All right. That's my baby right there. Hey, everybody, how everybody doing tonight? Good. Hey, I'm going to be honest with y'all. I do not want to do this shit. I mean, I really don't picture myself doing this. This is not how I picture my life. This is not what I had in mind for my life. But when God calls, when he calls, you do what God calls you to do. So that's why I'm really here. And at the end of the day, what do I tell people in jail? What can I really tell a person that's in jail? The only thing I can tell you is the truth. That's the only fucking thing I got to give you is the truth. My truth, and that's it. So I am a product of Richmond, Virginia. I grew up in Gilpin Court, born and raised. Started as a young scrapper in Gilpin Court, making a whole bunch of noise, whole bunch of unwanted noise. One thing about life, and as y'all sit on that side, and I'm on this side, pain, suffering, and humiliation will bring anybody to their fucking knees. It don't matter if you're in jail or out there. You can still be in a lot of pain and suffering even out there. You know, freedom doesn't mean your mind is working the way it's supposed to be working. My life has had a lot of pain, suffering, and humiliation. I've been a very fortunate young man all my life to get just about every opportunity in the world that could be afforded to a young man. I played in 2 different colleges. I had the prettiest girlfriend in high school. I so-called lived that life when I was a young man. But throughout all that shit, I didn't realize how miserable I really was, how much low self-esteem I really had. All the things in my life that I had never dealt with eventually caught up with me. So I'm going to go through my story. I'm going to tell you, I was a young shorty growing up in Gilpin Court with a lot of promise. I played basketball. But as we all do, or some of us do, we want to fit in. We want to fit in with our peers. We want everybody to like us. You know, we want to be likable. And that was my thing. I wanted everybody to like me. I want to fit in. I didn't want to do exactly what I was told by my mom, my grandmother, all the people that was giving me that good information. Go to school, do your work, stay away from the crowds, don't get no trouble, come in early, don't be out at nighttime. I didn't want to do any of that. I wanted to fit in. So by any means necessary, whether it meant breaking my mother's rules, breaking my grandmother's rules, breaking the school rules, or whatever the case may be, I did it. And I did it, and I got away with it for a while. So I say 13, 14 years old. And remember that word suffering. That's a key word. Because I understand when you're in a place or a position that you don't want to be, suffering is hard, man. And I'm talking about that shit comes in relationships. Shit comes in jail. That comes in the streets when you out there getting high and knowing you don't want to get high no more. Knowing you don't want to get high no more. I don't know if y'all know what I'm talking about, but there came a time in my life where I had ran the streets so hard, when I got up in the morning, I know I didn't want to get high no more. But yet and still, somehow, some way, I still managed to get caught up in that shit one more again. And it kept going. That was the worst suffering I ever had in my life, because I'm going to tell you something. When something can control your mind like that, when something can tell you get out of bed and you're not going to do what you're supposed to do today, but you're going to go do what I'm telling you to do today, that's some suffering. When you can't tell yourself what to do on a day-to-day basis, that's suffering. So going back to when I was a young shorty, 12, 13, 14 years old, hung out with my partners. You know, they was doing their thing. I was playing the basketball. But obviously, what they was doing was attractive to me, a little bit glitzy, a little bit glamour. But somehow I focused. At that point, I was still focused, you know, drinking a little beer with them, hanging out. Things didn't really start jumping off till about 16. You know what I'm saying? That's when life kind of took a little bit of a turn. I still was playing the high school basketball. I was getting all the accolades. Everybody was talking about how great I was going to be, how good I was going to be. But by then, guys was driving cars, you know. Girls was driving cars. Hey, I want me a car too. I want to be like the rest of the guys. I want to have a few dollars in my pocket, a little car outside. So I started hanging out with some guys that was doing some things that they didn't have no business doing. And that lasted for a little while. Went to about 17, 18 years old. And this is the problem. The abnormal start becoming normal. You know it ain't normal when the police chase you off the block, you run around the corner, you jump over 10 gates, you dive underneath a car, you go hide up in a tree, and then an hour later you come back and stand on the corner and laugh about that shit. That's not normal. That's not normal behavior by far. But the abnormal started becoming normal. My saving grace was I did play basketball. So like I said, I floated for a little while with that lifestyle of hustling, if that's what you want to call it, selling a little drugs, playing a little basketball. And my blessing was I did get out of Gilpin Court via St. Paul's College on a scholarship. But the fact that Gilpin Court was only 90 miles in Lawrenceville, Virginia, and I could make that trip on the weekend, every weekend, did not help me at all. So I would come home on the weekends, hang out with my peoples, do what we do, and next thing I know, I was at home beside them, no longer in college. I'm like, damn, what just happened to my life? And I can't tell you to this day why I quit school. I know part of it was I was caught up in hanging out with my friends, but I didn't get kicked out of school. I didn't get kicked out the basketball team. I just wasn't mature enough and I wasn't ready to go to college at that time. So I came back home that summer, started hanging out with them guys, started making a few more dollars, and that shit was appealing to me, you know, a little bit of money. You know, I thought at that time $5,000 could save the world. You know what I'm saying? You know, we thought $5,000, at 18, you got $5,000, you think you're doing something, you think you're balling. So that was my choice to be at that time. But life started getting a little more risky. By this time, guys started going to jail. Life started getting serious. You know, I'm 19 years old and I'm seeing my friends. You know, y'all probably know some of these names. I'm not going to throw them out there, but if I told you some of these names, you would definitely know them. I'm going to throw one name out there that you probably heard of or may have heard of. My younger brother coaches Thomas Jefferson High School. His name's Kendrick. His nickname is Kimmy. I don't know if y'all familiar with him. But we all hung out with some real wild guys back in my day. And I would say a strong 80 to 90% of them, by the time we was 19, 20 years old, was catching Fed cases. I didn't say city cases. I didn't say state cases. I said Fed cases. So a lot of my friends, now that I'm in my 50s now, are just coming home. I'm talking 30-year bits. I'm talking 25-year bits at 19, 20, 21, 22. Suffering, real suffering, consequences. So shit started to get serious for real. Okay, still trying my hand at this thing though. Not mature enough, not smart enough to realize the weapon that I'm about to form that's about to shred me in all kinds of pieces as our book talk about it, not realizing what's going to happen to my life. I continued that route for a little while longer. The blessing was I was playing the summer league, and there were some people in the summer league that said, look, man, what you going to be, a thug all your life, or do you going to play basketball? You too good to be doing what you're doing. You just too damn good for this. So upon his suggestion to get me in college, I'm like, nah, man, I'm good. You know, my ego, my pride in the way, fuck that. I don't need to go nowhere. I'm good. I'm running with my dudes. I've got a few dollars in my pocket. My Cadillac looking good. I mean, I'm good. I don't need that. One night, I'll never forget it. In them projects, pow, 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 pow. Go outside the door, dead body right there. I said, oh, it. Hey, bro, remember that college you was talking about? You know, that college still available? They still offering that scholarship? That scholarship sounded real damn good that time. I was about 20 years old. I don't know if y'all familiar with Gilpin Court in 87, 88, 89, but they was killing people left and right in Jackson Ward. And a lot of my friends was either on the other end of the gun or the ones that's pulling the trigger. And it doesn't matter if you best friends and so-called, you great partners and all that. The thing that was worrying me the most, the thing that was so sickening was it started getting to the point where we was getting each other. You know, it wasn't me shooting at this person over in this other projects or me shooting this person that we don't know. They started shooting each other. And that really worried me. That really scared me. So I took a trip, y'all. I took a trip to Kentucky. There's some funny shit here, boy. I tell you that. This story gets funny. So I go to Kentucky on the basis of a guy that went to university in Kentucky that was coaching the VCU Summer League. He got me into college in Kentucky. Me thinking I'm in the country, I'm not going to get in no trouble. The school is a little small school way out in the boondocks. I'm going to play my basketball, and I'm going to come back to the state of Virginia, and I'm going to show these motherfuckers. I'm going to show these motherfuckers, you know what I'm saying? I ain't no dope boy. I'm going to be a college student. I'm going to get this graduation. I'm going to get this degree. I might even go play some basketball over in other seas, make the league. I'm going to do something with myself. So why I get to Kentucky, and as soon as I start hanging with my partners that played basketball in college with me, they start taking me to the city of Louisville and Lexington, and I'm hanging in the projects with the people in Louisville and Lexington, and next thing you know, I know where the coke man is. I know where the dope man is at. I know all the people in Louisville. I know all the people in Lexington. And guess what happened? 1 year later, after I finished that college term that I should have went on and graduated, I was right my ass back in Richmond, Virginia. Pain, suffering, humiliation. Everybody looked at me like I was a fucking god one time. I was one of the best basketball players in the city. You can look it up. My name is George Warren. My brother's name is Kendrick Warren. Played with Milton Bell and all those guys that was really good back in the day. I played against some of the best competition in Richmond, Virginia. And they had me top 5 in the city of Virginia in my junior year. Came back to them projects. Started dibbling, dabbling more and getting high. It went from not just drinking, but getting high, all different types of stuff. I don't need to name everything I was doing, but I was doing just about everything. To the point where it caught up with me that everybody started taking notice. Everybody started taking notice. Hey, man, when are you going back to school? You ain't in college no more? What you doing? Why are you out here this late? What's going on with you? I was so embarrassed. Because this the thing. I'm talking about respect. Once I started smoking that thing, and I had to creep through Jackson Ward to get one, so people couldn't see me doing it, because they thinking I'm still playing basketball, that's some embarrassing shit. Because it went from me making the money to once I start dibbling and dabbling, I really like the dibbling and dabbling part. I really like the getting high part more than I like the getting the money. Because first of all, like I said, peer pressure. I wasn't a dope boy anyway. That shit to fit in. I was a basketball player. I wasn't a dope boy. Everybody around me said, Joe, there, you get in the back. We gonna take care of this situation. Or if there was a situation, stay your scared ass in the car. You ain't gonna do shit anyway. Take that pistol from him before he shoot his damn self. You know, that's where I was at with it. And I ain't had no problem with that because I'm telling you, everybody around me loved me to death. That's why my drug addiction festered, because I had dudes thinking that I'm going to, here, take that. You're going to get us rich one day any damn way. Take that and go sell that. Go make you some money. That's why I used to come home on the weekends from college. Ain't nobody front me nothing. They gave me. The motherfucker's in college. He going to be rich one day. Give him what he want. Give him whatever he want. Little did they know, I like testing everything y'all gave me. I like sniffing all the time. They don't think I'm sniffing. They think I'm just hooping. A couple of my friends knew, but it wasn't to a point where it was noticeable then. That second go around from college, very noticeable. Because guess what? You can't hide smoking crack. If you're anything like me, if your addiction was anything like mine, there ain't no hiding smoking crack. So, guilt, shame, remorse ran me back to Kentucky. Now, this is where my life really took a whole nother turn, a whole nother shape. This is where my life really got bad. When I went back to Kentucky, I met two guys from Detroit. True story. Not lying to y'all. True story. My best friends to this day, up until about 8 months ago when I got killed. Everything I learned in Jackson Ward, everything I did as a young man, is what I needed for this journey I was about to take. So when I got back to Kentucky, I'm getting high. I'm running around like a chicken with my head cut off. Two dudes from Detroit take me underneath their wings. In Detroit, their thing is, there's no getting high. We get money. We don't get high. We smoke weed, we drink our Remy, and we get money. They seen something in me, because when they first met me, it's like, damn, how is this dude? Something else I didn't tell you. I was a fucking professional con artist. If you look back in Richmond Times-Dispatch, you can see me on one page for basketball. You can see me on the other page for conning. True story. Look it up. I conned so many people downtown out of money, it was ridiculous. I was one of the smartest people in school, didn't use it to con, and I conned so much I could get $500 to $1,000 a day. True fucking story. I went to Kentucky with that same MO, and I started getting the money. They know, it's like, how in the hell he driving a car, he got jewelry on, but he's smoking the hell out that crack like that. So they took me under their wings, and I ran with them two guys for years until it got to the point where, excuse me, ladies, excuse my French, but I became their bitch. Pain, suffering, humiliation. I became their bitch. Tell me, a motherfucker that come from Jackson Ward with an ego, with pride, everything. Them dudes had me running up and down the highway at will. You going up and get this pack. I had my own room. I sold dope all night for them. I was a mule. I ran up and down the highway, smoked crack, got some of my money in money, some of my money in crack. Most of the time I ended up smoking all my shit up and spending the money right back to them. This went on for years, back and forth. But the thing about it is, they did care about me. It took me off the streets. They cared about me. At points and times throughout the relationship, they'd be like, man, you're too smart for that, bro. Just get the money. Just get the money. You're a smart dude. Why are you doing this shit? You see me and Jay getting this money? Get this money. Nah, I smoke crack, bro. I like crack. When we going back to Detroit and get another pack? That's what I want to do. By now, I'm 28, 29 years old, and I'm full-blown crack addict. Full-blown. Best thing that ever happened to me, worst thing that ever happened to me. Best thing that ever happened to me, 29 years old, my son was born. Worst thing that ever happened to me, my son was born and I was on crack. Tell you something, I love my son to death. But suffering's a motherfucker. And I know you. Oh, I love you. I finally got to see you. Oh my God, this is crazy.
Hey, Jodelle.
Oh my God, she know I'm telling the truth.
Yeah.
She know I'm telling the truth. My son was born. Second best thing that ever happened to me. Worst thing that happened to me. My daughter was born. The one that just called me. So, I proceed, even after they was born, to continue to get high. I'm the dude that took his girlfriend to work, dropped my kids off to daycare, and guess what? I don't know if y'all know the AA or the AA lingo for non-craving. The thought that overrides every other thought. That happened to me every single time. I dropped them off, and guess what I didn't go do? I didn't go back and get nobody. And you tell me somebody love they fucking daughter, take a bullet right now for her? I left that little girl and her brother at daycare and her mama. Mama used to call me, Jodelle, you got to go get them today. The people are going to lock us up. I'm asking people on my job to take me to the daycare to get these kids. Every day I'm calling people, they calling me saying, when are you going to come get your kids? You can't keep dropping us off and not coming back to get us. That's what I had turned into. That's the kind of addict I had become. I didn't give a shit about my kids, my family. My grandmother died. Nobody knew where I was at. My daddy died. Nobody knew where I was at. I was so wrapped up in that shit I was doing that it was unbelievable. It had me in the grips so powerful. And yet it's still my peoples from Virginia that I grew up with thought I was all right probably. Because I would come home periodically in the beginning because I was still hustling, making it look good. You know that mask we wear. You know how we fake them out. Come on with a couple of rings on. Come on with a few $1,000s in your pocket and telling everybody everything okay, knowing that it ain't okay, knowing I've been smoking crack since the day I left Richmond, Virginia, up until now. That little money I got ain't shit because I'm barely helping baby mama out. Ain't doing nothing for her. Just living that lie. So this is what happened to me. My man spoke on God. That gentleman spoke on God. Suffering's like this, and I heard somebody talk about it the other day. Get out there, you're boxing. Get that verse one off, get a good shot in. Then you get the shit beat out you, and you're on the ground. And the man says, stay down. Stay down. And your ass won't get back up because you think if you get up, you can fight and you're going to win. That ain't winning. You know how you win in this game? You surrender. You just say, fuck it. I give it to you now, God. It's yours. You can have it. Take me. I can't fight no more. I have no win. And that's what happened to me. I had pride in myself. How much more time I got? I had pride in myself when I was in Jackson Ward and throughout my journey because I've always been a good dude and everybody has always loved me. I've been very lovable all my life. I have mad respect for my peers. I have mad respect from people in Kentucky. I have mad respect for people in the other states as well. One thing I never did, I never sold dummies. I never did any of that stuff. I never, tried to get over, beat nobody out their money and all that kind of shit. But never say never. This is what happened to me. Never forget it. My clean date is 2009, February 16th. That weekend was Valentine's Day weekend, and the two dudes I told you I ran with in Detroit for years, one of them had finally got locked up in court fed time. The other one, we was just still running. So he went on to a Valentine's Day dinner with his wife, his girlfriend. They had the whole weekend at the hotel. And people still used to come to the house and shit. I was so loyal to them guys. I told you I was like they bitch. I was so loyal to them. They trust me. I knew where all the money was at, the dope. I knew where everything was at. They trusted me. I never stole anything. I never took anything. All I did was do whatever they told me to do. Run my ass up and down that highway. Do what they say do. Go to the store, boy. Go do this, boy. Go do that, boy. I was one of them type of dudes. You know what I'm saying? Because I love that crack like that. But this particular weekend, he said, got somebody coming over. I got a little thing left. Serve her that, and you can have what's rest, with the rest of it. Those were the moments where I got some rest, where I didn't suffer as much. Those were the moments when I told you I wake up in the morning and I don't want to get high, and I still get high. Those were one of those moments where I thought, he's gone. I'm going to look at TV all day. I'm going to eat some food. I'm going to get fat again. I'm going to try to gain some weight. I'm losing weight. I need to gain some. I'm going to give me some pounds on my ass. That girl came over there. I served her that dope. I smoked mine. She knew me and Jay. She knew the clique. She knew me, Jay, and T. She knew how hard we ran. We had been running for years at that point. She already knew the layout, how I handle business when they gone, when they doing shit. So I go in the room and I go get $100. And I said, go get us some more dope. She know I got a hustle in me too, a little hustle in me. She know I keep money sometimes too, not as much as they keep, nearly as much as they keep, but she know I got hustle in me too. So I said, go get us some dope. Jay ain't got no more. This is about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It's 7 o'clock in the evening. I'm still sending her to get $100 pieces. She look at me like, oh, hell no, you and Jay money. So she's like, shit, no, I'm getting ready to get the hell up out of here. She done figured it out. I done went in his pack, start taking his money. I ain't never took nobody's money before. Now I ain't just a crack addict, I'm a thief. Don't matter where the money come from, it was his money. I start taking his money. Next thing I know, it's 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. I'm $1,200 into his pocket. He calls me up and say, hey, bro, go in that money and get you a little money out there and go get you something. You know I ain't coming back till Monday. I said, shit, I'm already $1,200 into you, bro. You don't even know. I'm eating you up. This is the funny part. The hotel just downtown. So, you know, he one of them fly dudes from Detroit. He liked to wear his Cartiers and his fly clothes and his jewelry and all that. He one of them might pop in because, man, I left that polo shirt. I need that polo shirt for the night. I said, shit, man, if he jump up in here right now, he going to see this mess that I got going on. So I eased on around to another apartment. You should see my big dumb ass creeping through the little lot thing to get to that apartment, running to get $100 at a time, back and forth. I had to be the stupidest idiot in the world. But that's when life changed for me. I had one or two choices. I could face him and face that reality. What I did was at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, I told the dope man to take me downtown, and I went to a church. This is when God showed me who God was. Somebody talk about a spiritual awakening, spiritual experience. This is when God showed me the power of who God really was. And I'm talking about powerful. When I told you, all I can tell you is my truth, this is my truth right here. I went into a church. It was a Presbyterian church. Nothing against you ladies. It was an all-white church. 6'5", drunk, high out of my mind. And I go into church, and I see the first person I said, and I said, I need some help. They're like, what do you mean you need some help? What kind of help you need? I said, I need to talk to somebody. They're like, well, you need to talk to her. What's going on? I said, I just need some help. He said, hold on, let me go get somebody. So what he went and did, he went and got this young kid that was an intern, associate pastor, learning from the pastor. So he comes and he said, what do you need, man? What can I help you with? So he said, let me take you to the back. We can sit down and talk. So I started talking about dope, guns, and knives and everything. He said, hold up, man, I need the pastor. He said, just you stay right here. I'm going to go get the pastor for you. This one is out of my league. He said, but you're going to have to stay in the congregation until the pastor gets done because church is about to start. Man, if you could have seen them little old white ladies looking at me in that church, me sweating bullets, drunk as hell, sitting in that church, and I didn't leave, so I know God was working in my life. They tell us in recovery, we are people that normally don't mix. This pastor, after church, he prayed for me. He took me to his brother's house because I told him my situation. I said, look, man, I need help, man. I didn't tell him what I did. I didn't tell him I stole the money. I said, but I need one or two things. I need to go to recovery somewhere outside of Lexington, or I need to go home. I need to go home. I ain't seen my family. It's been 15 years. I ain't seen my mama. I ain't seen nobody. I'm tired. I can't do this no more. He takes me to his brother's house. His brother let me stay there for 3 days. I go up the road to Louisville, Kentucky from Lexington, and little did I know, all these people from my neighborhood, from the city of Richmond, are coming from Richmond, Virginia, to go to Wayside Christian Mission. I did not know that. My dumb ass has been in Kentucky since 1990 and did not know half my damn city was an hour away. So I go up there and I sit at the little reception area. And I'm like, one of my best friends come in the building with a shirt and tie on. And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing here? What the fuck going on? Why you got a shirt and tie on? He said, George Warren. I said, oh my God. I never looked back from that day. That pastor that helped me tell you the next step he took for me. And this was really when, if I didn't believe God at that point, this is when I really believed him. Told him about my kids when I first met him. He knew how much I love my kids. Got clean, stayed in the program almost 2 years. Calling them on a regular basis, telling them how I'm going to get me a car so I can drive back and forth to Lexington to go see my children once I get weekend passes, be a part of their life like I want to be. He said, you trying to get a car? He said, just hold off on that. I got some people that sell cars that go to the church. We're going to see if we can get you a good deal. I said, all right, Pastor. By then, I'm trying to think on my own then. I'm like, Pastor, I'm trying to get me another caddy. You know what I'm saying? I'm going, damn, he don't know what he's trying to get me. He trying to get me a hoop deal, some shit. I'm on my own now. I'm working. I done made it to phase 2 in the program. My pocket's getting fat. I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm going to buy me one of these Benzes out here. Pastor lost his mind. He going to try to take my money and spend it on some garbage. So anyway, he calls me one day out the blues. He said, you still looking for a car? I said, nah, Pastor, I ain't spent no money yet. He said, I'll be up there next weekend. We're going to talk about it. I said, okay, come on. I can't say no to him. He don't rock me this far. So he comes up Saturday. He said, meet me at McDonald's. So I see 2 vehicles coming in McDonald's. One was like a car, and the other one was a little van. So I took one of my friends with me because I was like, man, you ain't gonna believe this pastor, man. He cool ass white man. He done looked out for me, man. He done helped me out. I said, man, y'all in this church and here talking about this racist stuff and all that. I said, man, this man done helped me, brother. I want you to see this white guy, man. He cool as hell. Man, I stood up and walked outside that McDonald's. And he said, here you go. That's yours. I said, what you talking about? He said, the church got it for you. It's yours. Go see your kids. If that ain't God, I don't know what is. If that ain't God, I don't know what is. My first vehicle was free of charge. And he said to me, come down to Lexington next week. I'll pay for the tags and taxes on it. I said, no problem at all. I will be there. You can pay it all. Y'all remember that son and that daughter I told y'all about? That son that I used to abandon when he was a little boy, the mama that I didn't treat right, that son is now a college graduate. He did what his daddy couldn't do for me. That daughter that just called me, she's a graduate student right now trying to get a fucking doctorate, a PhD. And we like this. I couldn't have done none of this without the grace of God. Not one piece of it. And I suffered in so many ways. I suffered in so many ways. And guess what most of it was? I don't know if you can relate to this, but most of mine was self-inflicted. I might as well put the goddamn gun to my own head and blew my fucking brains out. Most of my pain was self-inflicted. And I still struggle with certain things out there as a free man because I'm learning and I'm growing as a person. How to be a better person, how to love me better, how to treat me better, how to try to be a better person to you, to the people around me, how to be a better father to them. It's not an easy job, especially when you're selfish and fucking self-centered and all you think about is your fucking self. And that was my story. All those good people I had in my life throughout my journey that knew what was best for me, I always thought I knew what was best for me. I always thought I knew what was best for me. And in the end, I didn't. That's why I tell you, I don't want to do this right here. But guess what? Through suffering, you get your assignment. Suffering happens sometimes. You have to suffer to learn who the fuck you really are. And see, I, all along, was trying to be something that I was not and had no business even trying to be. It feels good today to be a father, to be a community leader, to go to work a regular job and get paid without the police behind my back, trying to flag me down, trying to see if I did something wrong. See, I used to do all that when I was young and didn't have no business doing it. It was never my thing. Some people are born or bred for that. I mean, I got some friends that are true gangsters. They're going to ride or die to the end. That was never me. That was never me. That was never my story. I never should have ever attempted to be a gangster, a thug, or anything else. I should have went my ass to college, got my degree, took care of my family, and did what I was supposed to do in this life. It came a roundabout way. I'm finally getting to that, and I'm playing catch up in life, but I'm blessed. So, in closing, what I want to say to you, whatever you got to suffer through, whatever you got to go through, let it be the strength that you use to do your assignment. See, I didn't really want to be here tonight, but this is my assignment. I always thought I was going to be this or that or this or that. I wouldn't trade it for the world. The way my life has changed and the way things have turned out and what I get to do, the job that I had in Kentucky for 13 straight years before I moved home, all those were my assignment. And I did some wonderful things. I didn't make $100,000 a year, but I was blessed. I still got to go to Disney World and Disneyland and all that you get to do with your children and all that wonderful stuff. And my son played college basketball. Matter of fact, I was at the Charlotte Hornets game last week in Toronto Raptors. Old crackhead like me. Head cocked ace deuce. Up in that thing, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm the shiznit. Thank y'all. I appreciate this opportunity. Thank y'all.
They don't go nowhere yet. They might have some questions for you.
Hey, man, let them roll.
Thoughts, comments, or questions?
Let them roll. Let them roll. Let them roll.
Are you kidding me?
Hey, man, it's real. It's real out there, bro. I'm telling you, I suffered a lot out there, man. And you know, pain is good sometimes when you learn from it. You know, pain is good. I know nobody wants to be in this jail. Nobody wants to go through what they're going through. But if you take this experience and you use it to your fucking advantage, you're going to be better for it. But if you take, like my man said, if you don't take no structure back out here, you don't take no different thought process out here, then it's going to be the same results. The last time I was in this jail, I was visiting my young baby brother, and it broke my heart, you know, because he kept going back and forth to jail, back and forth to jail. And I beefed with him, and I argued with him, and I fought with him. The last time I came to Richmond, Virginia, I got a pretty Lincoln, too. That boy got out of my car and slammed my door so hard, I said, boy, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to kill you. You're going to die today. You slam my door like that again. I used to come down here, and I cry. I'm an emotional guy. I can fight. I can do all that. But when it's time to show my emotions, I show them. You know what I'm saying? I come in there, and he'll tell you. I got Kimmy, big old brother, 6'8". I got another brother that she knows real well, David. Fight in a minute. Both of them will go at you. And my little baby brother, he the worst. He came to Kentucky the first day he was in the program. He knocked somebody out. Knocked them clean out. But I used to go in that back, and I used to cry. He'd be like, dude, enough. And that was the last time I was here. When he got out, we fought. Tooth and nail. Then he finally called me, bro, I'm going to come to Kentucky. I said, you serious? Don't play with me. So I knew he was serious because my brother Kimmy said, man, how much the ticket is? He getting ready to go right now. How much that ticket is, bro? I'm getting ready to put him on the bus right now for you. And he's been in Kentucky. He's been doing great. You know, he changed some things in his thinking, and he's down there now, clean and sober, been clean for a while, been on the same job probably about 3 years, which he couldn't do here, couldn't manage to hold a job. You know, stayed in here. I done been to camps to see him. I done been here like 3 times to see him. All this is in my 14-year clean time. I done been to see him in probably 4 different facilities, you know. And he just at the young, tender age of, I think he's 38, 39. So all his 30s, he was back and forth in jail. His 20s, back and forth in jail, you know. But he getting it together now. He getting it together.
Yeah, but you know, you got clean So when a family member gets clean, all the family members will be attracted. You become a lighthouse.
It's true.
Then you become the family hope dealer. And man, we can heal our families and our communities. You know, you got to start somewhere. This is real. I got 2 brothers in recovery. My dad passed away in recovery. So I know family dynamics, how difficult they can be. But, you know, you a hope dealer in more ways than one.
Hey, man, you know what? We pass this gift to whoever we can give it to, man. You know what I'm saying? Whoever I can give it to, man. Like I said, I'm no better than you guys. I done suffered all my life. It don't matter. I done been to jail. I haven't had real long stints, but I done been to jail. My life has took me to jail. It's cost me 2 basketball scholarships. It's cost me a lot of beautiful people in my life. I missed out on my grandmother. They couldn't even find me. I was somewhere in the madness. My grandmother was my rock, my heart and soul. You know, I have to make a lot of amends and ask God to forgive me for a lot of things, man. A lot of things, you know. And like I said, I'm still a work in progress. I'm by no means the finished product. I got this little thing that I got from the recovery program. It said, God ain't finished with me yet. And I got a long ways to go, man. A long ways to go. And I'm going to keep on this journey. And like I said, I don't want to be here. I'm from the projects. I'm thinking to myself the whole way over here, you motherfuckers don't want to hear nothing you got to say. They in jail.
You know, I picked up on the part you got a little ways to go, but still, it was a huge start, though. You know, and once you get this recovery process going, it's good. You know, it ain't that difficult at that point. So.
And I've spoke in front of people in jail before, but I understand. You know what I'm saying? This is a difficult spot to be in. You know what I'm saying? A very difficult spot. So my prayers is with every last one of y'all. I hope whatever God has lined up, even if you don't believe in God, I'm praying to my God. Hope whatever's lined up for you in your life, I hope you get it 10 times that. I hope whatever you got, because your assignment is your assignment. You just got to, when God free you, you got to give it back to him so he can guide you.
Anybody not believe in God? I think most of you strike me as you got some sort of belief. But in case you don't, just take the word God, G-O-D, good, orderly direction. Start with that. That was my beginning. I didn't want anything to do with God 40 years ago, but I understood good, orderly direction, and that's a good step off.
Ain't nobody, even if, and I believe in a God somehow, ain't nobody give me no van until I got my life together. Ain't nobody walk up to me and hand me no damn keys with a full tank and say, here, and know what I came from. No, I just came from the gutter. He trusted in me that, look, this dude gonna do the right thing. You know, he could have said, no, I'm not giving him no van, something is paid for him to go out here and do some craziness in it. So those things right there that was revealed to me, that's why I view the world the way I view it.
You on something else too, where your thinking wasn't the best thinking. You had good thinkers around you, and you didn't pay much attention to it. This is a good group. They've been coming regular now here, most of you since November when we started. But I wonder, how many of y'all feel like y'all got a good plan when you leave here, when you do leave here? I hope it's inclusive of a recovery journey intertwined in with Get Your Life Back journey. Because to do this on your own, that could be a real bad idea.
Some of y'all look familiar, man. I don't know if I know y'all or just seen y'all in passing. You look familiar, bro. I don't know why. You from Richmond? Yeah. What part of town you grew up in South? Your face looks familiar, man.
You owe money, don't you? You ain't gonna say it though.
What part of town you grew up in Southside?
Uptown, like James Road, Chippenham.
You know Dewan? You know Dewan? They used to call him what is he called? Dewan? Some crazy love, some bruh love.
I don't even know one love, J Love.
J Love, okay.
Every corner got a J-Lo, man.
Yeah, but you do look familiar, man. And you look like Jim Jones. That's why I'm looking at you. That brother like Jim Jones. I'm thinking, what Jim Jones doing? He ready to set it off here? You ready to rap for us? Man, looking like Jim Jones.
Hey, you know the brother does get around, so
yeah, man.
We all gonna look like.
Where you from, bro? You look kind of familiar too, man. Churchill. You a little younger than me, man. I'm an old head, man.
You can be your grandson, man.
Man, I'm one of them old heads, man. I try to rock my head like I'm still young, bro. I'm 53 years old, bro. I still got a little juice in me, though. I got a little something in me, man. I can still shoot the hoop a little bit, too. Yeah. Yeah. Where you from, bro? Oh, hell no. Hell to the no. We ain't even go. 24 South Union, boy. Woo! And then you look about as old as I am, so you know what I'm talking about. You know about that 24 South Union, didn't you? You heard about it. Oh, you just moved there not too long ago? Yeah, that used to be the jump off. That's when I was trying to be a thug, supposed thug. When they used to go in the club and say, sit your ass in the car. We'll come back and get you in a minute and make sure everything's safe because you got to make sure you can shoot the mob.
You know, Petersburg was like boot camp for drug dealers. You go down there, you work. If you live down there, you can make it back up in the court.
Where you from, bro?
New York.
Yeah.
You from where? Man, I did not expect that to come out your mouth. Not the voice. I thought the voice was going to be all deep and strong. You from where? The Northern Neck. Where the hell is that at? Give it to me, bro. What is that? Tappahannock? Oh, you one of them Chris Brown nephews, uncles. One of them people. You know. That's where he from, right? Rappahannock, Tappahannock? Okay. Where you from, bro? Where you from, bro?
I ain't got that voice. I'm from the beautiful island of Puerto Rico.
You from Puerto Rico? Oh, my boss was from Puerto Rico. I was 13 years at this company in Louisville, Kentucky. I just came back home after being in Kentucky for over 30 years. I finally came back home. And what he was talking about too, that's the blessing of recovery for me. Like my mom passed away 4 years ago, and me and my mom built an awesome relationship before she passed away. But my mama's sister is the only one that's living now. All the rest of her brothers and sisters are dead. So my 80-year-old aunt, we ride or die. You know what I'm saying? We hang out real tough. We do the damn thing. We have a lot of fun together. You know what I'm saying? And I miss her, so I try to spend the quality time with her. You know, I can't make up for lost time, but what I have now is, you know, trying to give her the best of me, do the best I can, do what we're supposed to do. She need to go to the doctor's appointment, I'm there. She needs something from the store, I'm there. You know, the roles have reversed. So yeah, I finally made it home, man. All right, ladies, where y'all from? Where you from? You from Newport News? Wow. I know some criminals down there too.
She knows them too.
You look familiar. You look a little bit familiar, but I don't know you. I don't know why you look familiar. Where you from?
I am originally from Goochland, but I've been in Southside for the last 20 years.
You from Goochland? I probably do know you. I just like hanging in the country. Where you from?
West End and Southside and Hyde Park and all over.
What's your name?
Cookie. Gladys.
So did you know Haywood and all them?
Yeah.
Did you know? Let me say this. Let me get a good name. Tom Slick and them.
Yes.
You know all them guys? Oh, so you know the real crew. Yes. So you know what I'm talking about when I say I hung out with the real bad one. My brother and Daryl were best friends.
Okay.
My brother Kendrick and Daryl Copeland were best friends.
Oh, okay.
So they was best friends.
All of them.
And so you know what happened to them.
Yes.
Yeah, long time, bye-bye. I know the whole crew. Yeah. I know them all.
The Wilder brothers probably.
Well, I know of them, but don't know them, but I know.
Where you from? The East End? Freshman, help me. Highland Park? Highland Springs. You from Highland Springs? You know what? Highland Springs is where the good people live. That's what back in the day we was trying to get to Highland Springs. If you got out to Highland Springs, you was doing something special.
You take 64 to Airport Road.
You look like you from Virginia Beach. You look like you actually at the beach right now. Like shit, fuck this Jay. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to kick up some sand. Yeah, it's coming. It's coming. You're gonna be there soon. I have nothing to say to you. Nothing to say to you. My big brother used to date her sister back in the day. Kim. David. My brother David. Back in the day, I had a crush on her. I was too young for her back then. She used to walk through them. You two, don't act like I ain't had no crush. When you was in Cavaliers, I come in there with my little $100 acting like I'm a ball. But yeah, this right here is family right here. And I've been asking Wanda about her for the last 3 or 4 years. I just seen Wanda the other day. And I said, where that girl at? She told me. I was like, damn. But God has blessed me today. I have been wanting to see you forever.
Small world shit.
No, I mean, it messed me up because when I looked at her, I was like, Damn it, that's her right there. I've been gone for 30 years. This is the first time I've seen her in 25 plus years. First time I have seen her in 25 plus years.
She's older than you?
Huh?
She's older than you? She look much better than you.
Hey, that's how I Gilpin Court women look. That's how we roll in Gilpin Court. We got 60-year-old fly-looking women. She ain't 60, but you can be 60 in Richmond and Jackson Ward still like you 40. That's how we roll. Yeah, but I honest to God, I miss you so much, man. You already know what it is. You know, her brother, her family, you know, your sister, all of them, man. We used to all live in the nice, same little area, tight-knit little area.
Have y'all ever seen his brother play?
I taught him.
Yeah.
Taught him.
See, that was his reputation.
Taught him.
That was his reputation. Kendrick was the best player, and TJ left TJ go to BCU, and the best that BCU ever had.
Ever had. No matter what they say. They done had some good players, but he was the
That
best.
Final Four team, they had some good players on.
They ain't had no McDonald's All-Americans on their team.
Yeah,
He got
Final
drafted.
Four though.
They went to the Final Four. They had a good team,
Yeah.
but they ain't have no All-Star like him.
He should have been in the pros.
Yeah, he did. He got drafted. He played 1 year. He gave up on his dreams too soon. Got cut and felt like that was it for him.
That's what happened. Marshall, you got anything?
No.
I ain't get my man back there.
get your man
I ain't forgot you, man. Where you from, bro? Okay. You look kind of young. I don't know you, man. You like one of them, you like what my love? You like one of them Thundercats, one of them young Thundercats. Yeah, I don't recognize you, bro. How old you about, man? Oh hell yeah, you definitely one of them Thundercats.
22. 22.
Yeah, man. And you say you from Southside? Okay, what part of Southside? Okay, yeah, that's Forest Hill Avenue. Okay, that's a good area. Ain't bad. That's a nice area. Man, once again, man, I wish all y'all blessings, man. Whatever y'all gotta do here, get it done, and let your life begin again, man. The right way. You know what I'm saying? I ain't get you. I knew it was somebody. Where you from, bro? From where? Sound like you from Southside too. Lynn Haven. Everybody from Blackwell and all that one try. What Lynn Haven at? Is that close to Blackwell? Yeah, I knew it was something. Yeah, Lynn Haven. Yeah, oh, shit, man. You know I'm from Johnson, boy. You know I'm gonna fill all that out. You know I'm gonna fill it all out, bro.
Man, we got to take him down to East one night, man. It took me 5 hours to get out of there.
You know some dudes there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I got a real connection with my city. You know what I'm saying? Life wasn't always all bad for me. The moments that was good, they were really good. You know what I'm saying? Like I used to be. People used to look at me like I was God in Jackson Ward because I was that good at playing basketball. My brother was underneath me. Matter of fact, when we played against each other, it was one of the biggest events that TJ Huguenot ever had. My brother was in the 9th grade. He was a McDonald's All-American. So he played 9th grade all the way through varsity. And I had the option, because JHW had just broke up my senior year, so I had the option of going to TJ or staying at Huguenot. I had already been at Huguenot for 3 years, and I was stupid. I should have played with my brother. But we played against each other. And you talking about sold out. Everybody that was everybody was in that gym. And my mother, God rest her soul, she worked at Richmond Memorial Hospital for almost 50 years. And when she retired, and she had never been able to come and see me and Kendrick play, she would hear everybody in the projects talking about Kimmy and Joe Dale, Kimmy and Joe Dale, Kimmy and Joe Dale. But she worked so much, so she didn't get to see a game. That game, she came. She came to that game. And I'm talking, that's how life is. You know, you want things out of life. You want your mama to see you. You want your dad to see you. The projects raised me. So that part of my life I had never had. That meant more to me than anything in the world. For my mom to be in that stand, something she had never been able to do most of her life because she worked. She couldn't come. She made it that time to that game because everybody had hyped it up so hype. And my cousin Tina, man, funny as hell, boy. I don't know if y'all know him, but that was the funny dude. That dude was so funny. They said, who you gonna root for? Who you gonna root for? He think he big cuz, but he little cuz. He was talking about me. And everybody was all excited. Huh? She told them both of them. She said both of them. She said both of them winners. But that was the highlight of my high school career. And it was fun. So,
All right. Big hand. Boss, you got anything?
No, it's just that, man, this thing gets better and better. You know what I mean? You know, it gets to that point where initially when y'all were coming here, y'all won't bring nothing. Now when you come here, I hope you at least bring something. You know what I'm saying? You bring something, you're going to get something. You know what I mean? You know he has some good speakers. We have some dynamite speakers all the time. Just try to get something. You know, you see John doing it a lot. John be listening. You know what I'm saying? That's all we ask, man. Come in here and listen. You know what I mean? You
I'm
get
still learning.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pam, tell the sheriff, thank you very much.
Bring
for
something.
allowing us to keep coming up in here. Y'all take full advantage of the program while you're here. I know you're all very grateful to be in it. I can tell. I can see you got a wonderful attitude.
Oh, no.
You got something?
Yeah, I do have a question. Did you ever face anybody from
Yeah.
Detroit?
Yeah, that was the beautiful thing. Like, it took me a few years before me and him reconnected, and I did mention him when I said he got killed. The sad part about his life was the one friend that went to the federal penitentiary, he did probably close to 14 years. He had 18 years, he gave 4 back. He just came home about 4 or 5 years ago. When I got clean, I stopped going to Lexington altogether. Only reason I went to Lexington was just simply to go see my children when they were still in high school. So I would see Jay sporadically after about 3 years of being clean, here and there. Then it got to a point when my friend came home from the federal penitentiary. All 3 of us was like 3 amigos again. The thing was, he was still selling drugs. He was still in the streets. He was to the day he died. The other one, Travis, he got a CDL license. He drives tractor trailers now. And when he went to the feds, he went to the feds for a reason. He was one of the biggest drug dealers in the city of Lexington at that time, bringing it in from Detroit. So they gave him a whole bunch of time, almost 20 years. But he turned his whole life around. So we would hang out over the last 5 years, but we would go to club atmosphere. But I only could put my spirit in places where I really felt comfortable. Me and Jay, his real name is James, we got in arguments a few times because I would come down and see Travis more often because Travis wasn't doing anything anymore, just driving his tractor trailer. So we got in arguments. And finally, I think just before he passed away, he kindly really understood it. I said, it's not you. I have to do what I got to do to protect my recovery and protect me. I said, I know you love me and I know you care about me, but your thinking hasn't changed. You're not going to put me before you put your money. And he's continued to sell up until he got killed in a park in Lexington, Kentucky about 8 months ago. I had to go to Detroit to his funeral. I just talked to his mama a few days ago. I called on Easter Sunday. So yeah, my shit's real. And I'm talking about when I said major, what I did in Richmond was apples to oranges, what I did with them guys. And I mean, this guy, up until the day he died, that's all he did was sell drugs his whole life. You know, and it is sad the way he died, but, you know, that's, you know, it wasn't that particular time, it was drug related, but it's just, you know, so, yeah. It was real sad.
Live by the sword, die by it.
You good?
Good.
All right, gang, we'll see you in 2 weeks. Thank you very much.
All right,